Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of PhilsPhive. Pardon me if I look a little bit sleepy today. Like several of you probably, I was up way later than I should have been last night, and that ended up being quite a few wasted hours. Still waking up, not knowing exactly where we are with the election, but I just wanted to kind of give a quick national, state, and local recap and maybe a preview of what that all means to what we're concerned about, of course, which is the housing industry. So, looking at the numbers that we're seeing right now, we'll start at the top of the ticket. From the numbers I'm seeing, it looks like Vice President Biden should have the inside track to be the next president. There'll certainly be some challenges, and we'll certainly have all the data in the next day or so. You can watch your favorite cable news channel to kind of see what turns out there and how that goes, both with the challenges and the math and everything else. Maybe in the next day, hopefully, we'll know. More interesting, though, is the fact that somewhat surprisingly, the Senate may very well stay with the GOP, may stay with Republicans. Last I checked, Wall Street seems to think that that's going to be the case. It's got, I think, one of the biggest post election rallies in over a century. And I think a lot of that just is the certainty that may come with gridlock and a balance of power, or whatever you want to call it. So that's something to watch. I think, again, assuming Vice President Biden wins, the GOP would need 51 Senate seats to command a majority there. One of the ones that, actually, two of the ones that I would watch that not a lot of the pundits are paying a lot of attention to, watch what happens over the next few hours to the next day in Georgia, because there are two Senate races there. One or perhaps both of those may end up going to a runoff. Well, one's certainly going to go to a runoff. Both of them may go to a runoff that could decide the entire balance of power in the Senate in early January. I know that's probably the last thing that everybody wants. They just want to kind of get on with it. But I feel for our friends in Georgia if they've got to deal with both Senate races and everything being on the line for the balance of power in the Senate. There's still a decision out there in North Carolina, potentially a upset in Michigan. So who knows? But Georgia's one to watch in terms of where the Senate ends up. It looks like, kind of back to the president, you look at your favorite pollsters. I think that industry is pretty much kaput now. I've been myself actually just watching the offshore betting odds on how these races are going to go. Perhaps that illustrates what sort of degenerate that I am. But as it currently has it, it has Biden at about has a Vice President Biden at about a 84% chance of winning the presidency, and still pretty much 50-50 up in the air, depending on, I think, Georgia specifically on how it goes on the Senate side. Closer to home here in Texas, we definitely, in terms of the housing industry and, again, looking at friendly incumbents and people we've been able to work with, it was a good night. There were a lot of challengers that were posed, especially on the Democratic side, that they needed 9, the Democrats did, to be able to command a control of the Texas House. That's not going to happen, and that sets up, we're not sure exactly what the balance of power will be, but that sets up a good scenario in terms of friends of the industry potentially being the Speaker of the House in Texas. So, Dade Phelan from Beaumont, who's carried a lot of priority legislation for us, appears perhaps to be the leader in the clubhouse on there. He said this morning that he has the votes, but Trent Ashby, also a friend of the industry from Lufkin, is, I think, the second one to watch there, and we'll see kind of how that plays out. But I think the housing industry, in terms of the things that we need to protect and some of the initiatives that we have to take going into the next session, we probably couldn't have asked for a better night in terms of how everything turned out at the state level. Having John Cornyn retain his Senate seat was huge, because he's been incredibly beneficial for us on energy codes in particular. So we were glad to have him stick around with us. Locally, though, we've got at least 4 runoff elections that we're going to have to look at going forward. 3 in Denton, 1 in Frisco. Haven't checked those in the last couple hours, but there may be another 1 or 2 out there. And then also we've got coming up in the city of Dallas and a lot of other municipalities. 2021 is going to be on us before we know it, and we're going to have to really invest in some of the candidates that have been very helpful to us, council members, especially in Dallas. So that's kind of a long-winded thing of trying to encourage everybody to invest in HomePack. It's the political action committee of the Dallas BA, and you can do so at dallasbuilders.org, and you'll find the advocacy section on there, and you'll be able to donate online. So that, in about 5 minutes, is kind of the election in a nutshell. Check this tomorrow. It may be all wrong, but again, take a look at Georgia, and I'm happy with how things have gone at the state and local level. Other things that are coming up and that are happening, we've got a education webinar tomorrow, November 5th, very pertinent today. Video tips and tricks for social media marketing. That's presented by Tom Sadler and Associates, and you can register at dallasbuilders.org. Thank you to Structure Home Warranty for being the partner for that. Multifamily Builders Council coming up on November 10th. Building materials and commodity pricing, also very, very timely, especially with lumber. And as luck would have it, we've got Tom Black and Paul Evans, both of BMC, going to talk about the lumber market. So even if you're not specifically in multifamily, go to dallasbuilders.org, register for this, because that update will be just as pertinent to you on the single family side as it is to the Multifamily Builders Council. Next, we've got the membership directory. The 2021 roster is wrapping up as we speak. I think it'll wrap up a lot faster if I give Barcy what she's looking for from me. So I'll get to that after I'm done with this video. But if you want to advertise in this book, please contact staff now. This is one of the preeminent publications that we put out there. It's sent to all members in mid-January, and it's a really good place to not only find members, but to advertise your company. So also, if you've got a member prospect, be sure to get them in this month, because that's the last call and the deadline to make sure that everybody gets published in that once it comes out in January. Last but not least, another good member benefit is our HBA rebates program, the TAB rebates program, as some of you know it as. The builder members who participate in that, your deadline to submit claims is November 20th for the third quarter. So it's very quick and easy. Products that you're already using, especially once you get it set up, you can kind of set it and forget it. It's pretty easy to do. The average amount of builder savings last year is $1,500, so this is one of those ways you can get paid to be a member of the Dallas Builders Association. So check that out at hbarebates.com/tab. And I appreciate you tuning in for a extended edition of PhilsPhive on Facebook Live, and we'll see what happens with the election out there. Let me know whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you're just thrilled to be done with it and not have to deal with political ads anymore. That's me. So, all right, talk to you next time. Thanks.